Hi, I'm Janie Bryson, and you are listening to Expanding Consciousness.
Warning. Portions of this session may induce altered states of consciousness for some listeners. For this reason, do not listen to this session while driving or operating heavy machinery.
Well, welcome to Expanding Consciousness. My name is Janie Bryson. I'm a quantum guide, and I assist others to experience expanded levels of consciousness for healing and for a joyful life. And today I'm sitting with L.A. Talbert. He is a past client of mine, and we've subsequently done several additional sessions. And he has agreed to sit with us today and talk to us about not only how his sessions felt for him and what he experienced within a session, but also to share some of the information that he gained from his sessions. So with that being said, LA, welcome.
Yes, thank you. So thankful to be here.
Yes.
Excited. I just keep smiling and laughing and happy to see you again.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to start going over some of these sessions and talking about them.
Yes.
So I'm curious, our first session was in person last November. So it's been about, 4 months. Where were you when you came into that first session? What brought you into your first quantum healing session?
Excellent. At the time, I was just not feeling right in my body.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things in my life were just out of balance. I think I've used that word. I just didn't feel in balance. I felt really out of balance. And I believe it was from, of course, the last 2 years with the pandemic. But I had also changed cities within the last year. And I was just trying to find something to find my balance.
Right.
And I had been searching online. I've been scrolling online on Instagram.
Right.
And what eventually led me to you was QHHT, quantum health hypnosis.
Quantum healing hypnosis
Yes,
technique.
there
right?
we go. Yes.
Founded by Dolores Cannon.
Yes, it's Dolores Cannon. And I had someone in my Instagram community had shared clips of that. And the more I would hear, they would share Dolores Cannon sharing her clips, and I was just like, man, she sounds like what I need. She sounds like what I need. And I decided to look online and find that as close to me as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was one other person within an hour's drive from myself, but you replied, and when we talked, we went through email first,
mm-hmm.
and then you called me on the phone, and when we talked, I was like, this is it. And I just had that feeling that this is what I'm looking for. And it ended up being what I was looking for. That's what brought me here. It was just, I felt I needed something different, something more. I felt out of balance. And hearing Dolores Cannon, watching those clips, I was like, I feel like this is what I could use.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now here we are.
Yeah. Well, that first session was amazing, and listening back to it, there were so many important sections, important parts to it. But I'm curious how you felt that day when you first came into the studio and you knew we were going to start the process. What was going through your head?
I was like, this is it. I was excited, and I use the new word energized. I was energized because I felt like this was going to solve the internal conflicts that I was having. I was in my head a lot, not having a network of people I can just talk to and kind of get those ideas out, bounce those ideas off. And so I was like, this is it. And I can tell you that probably the biggest thing that I felt was that my body was just kind of tense. I was tense, very tense, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely in my shoulders and jaw and neck tension. And I was like, I didn't want to go on with that pain or that issue. And so I was like, it's like with sports, you always get a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're learning sports or you're doing sports, have a coach or a mentor. And so I wasn't solving it on my own, and I was like, that feeling of like my shoulders and my neck, like having no neck, that whole feeling. It's like I need someone to help me work through that.
Yeah.
And so I was just excited, like this is it. This is what's gonna work.
Yes.
And it did.
And we
It has.
did get to that. We did get to that discussion, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that first session that you had, because right out of the gate, just right in the very beginning, you experienced what I would refer to as an out-of-body experience. You were out of your body having the experience right out of the gate. And I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
All right. I think I want to go back a little bit in the story, and we were talking on the phone, or I might have emailed you this, and I said the word understand because
Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
And you responded when I said that, you knew that this was a good connection.
Right.
And I think we have to tell that part of the story, is that before we worked together, you had a questionnaire and you asked me some questions and we spoke on the phone, and so we were able to, well, did we speak? I don't even know anymore. We were able to, you were able to see that I would be right for you, and that you would be right for me as well. And
That's true.
well, I think that's part of it. So when we did meet in person, and I was adamant about meeting in person because you're like, we can do it online. I was like, no, I have to meet in person. And I think just when I met you, it was just welcoming, gave you a hug, and we talked about some things that we align with.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just that comfort and almost familiarity, and that just, hey, we can, then I'm in the right I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And
right.
So I think that led to, maybe if there's a guard, like maybe my guard was down, or willing to be open to allow you to lead me through that. And so I think that's important. And
yeah. There was a comfort there from the beginning.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't feel any I also had such a strong desire to quote unquote fix it. I had a desire to fix it, whatever it was. So it was that strong desire and that comfort to allow you to, having just met you, to allow you to guide me somewhere, and having that out of body experience. I don't know what to say about it. It's awesome. It's awesome. And I know we're going to get into some of the things I did while I was out there, but I believe it all stems from that. I think this is just what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
It was out of body, and I believed there was just more. I believed there was more. And I was so just super excited and energized for it to fix whatever it is. And
Right.
I also kind of thought it would be like a one-stop shop. Like everything that's wrong with me, or I think is wrong with me, it's gonna get fixed.
Right.
And that's not how it works. No. And so I'm thankful for all the multiple sessions, which actually led to this
Right.
like this
Well,
conversation.
I was guided to ask you if you would be interested to explore further concepts. And I'm glad that we were able to get that started and do some exploration into consciousness. So Well, here's when I listened back to your first session, which was in person, one of the things that I perceived interesting, there seemed to be a difference in your voice from that first session and then subsequent sessions. And it was almost a quiver of uncertainty or a quiver of um, maybe amazement or something. I want you to listen to that when we listen back to this clip, but I want you to listen to your voice because in subsequent sessions, your demeanor was different. It was more giddy and happy and joking and laughing. And this session was different.
Yes, I was still not nervous, but I was still trying. What we come to understand is that energy center was closed, so I didn't have that. Like the whole point was I wasn't feeling my normal self or how I usually felt, and that was showing up in different areas of my life. And there is such a difference. And I remember after our first session, I was reading a book, and the person in the book was going through a session, QHHT session, and kind of how it was said that she just kind of let her just trust it and just went with it. She went into that space really quickly, really easily, and I guess I was still timid, scared, inside, afraid because I didn't really know what was going to happen, but I know I wanted something to happen, and I needed something to happen, and so. But we also in that first session, I got healing of exactly what I was doing. So once that healing took place, then I was free to get back to my joyous self.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad you. I noticed that, and
you did
now
notice it too.
yes, because after that session, like I was reading. I don't remember which book, but I was reading how that the lady that was in the session, she just went really quickly into it, and I was thinking like I want to develop to just allow you to lead, and we'll go where we need to go. And so there was also, and it was our second time meeting, so there wasn't that like first time jitters or first time of.
And you figured it out because after that, you really have just been free to go.
Yes, and they're fun. You guides, my my angels, like higher selves. Everyone's funny. There's little jokes, little things that are part of me that I would understand. Like one of my guides being Andy, and Andy is funny to me because there's a song in the Christian faith where they say, "And he walks with me, and he talks with me," and they're speaking about God. And so there's a joke that says God's first name is Andy. And so when my spirit guide came and he said Andy, it was funny because I was like, Andy walks with me, Andy talks with me. And and then once like it's kind of like breaking the ice. When you meet someone and you can have a laugh, the whole vibe, the whole conversation, everything just is different.
Right.
And so those little moments.
And those sessions, ever since that first one, have been substantially different.
Yes.
They've just had a more lighthearted. There's a lot of heavy truths in them, but they are presented very in a giddy fashion. So.
Yeah.
Well, let's watch this first clip so you can kind of refresh your memory. And as you feel yourself now in this time and in this place, I want you to tell me the very first things that you see or the very first impressions that you have.
as you begin to understand where you are and what is happening around you.
I'm floating like like above a valley.
Okay.
With and like it's not quite mountains, but like the hills have dirt roads going up out of it, like four-wheelers or some type of vehicle has went up and down the road.
Okay.
I guess it could be a walking path, but, and it's split, one to my right and one to my like a V. There's just, and it appears it's all going up out of the valley.
And where are you floating within the valley? Is this above you? You're above it all.
Yeah, like now I'm going higher. I started just floating, starting at the bottom of it, or on the ground, and now I'm above, like way above it, like not outer space, but just where there's just blue sky.
Yeah.
And I keep flowing higher in that valley, while the green of the grass I can still see, and the brown, but just flowing higher. And just kind of looking around, I seem to be like in the sky.
Yes.
It's just blue, and I can't really make anything else out below. Just.
Are you continuing to go higher?
Yes, because that point of reference of the valley is getting smaller. And
as you look down from where you are to the valley, do you see your feet?
No. I don't really see anything. I just see like the valley's just really getting tight, smaller and smaller, and it feels like I can't really look around, but like I'm aware that my body's like to my left, like I feel like my body's there, but I'm viewing it outside of my body, but I don't see my body.
I see.
And so when I'm looking kind of forward, just into this vast space, but I'm floating like off to the left of me. Like the body is.
So you're floating outside of your body.
Yes.
Okay. But you still see your body, or you just know it's there?
I do not see it. I sense it's there.
Okay.
Like to my left, and my body's still going off to the left, and the valley's like down to the right and getting smaller.
Okay.
It's flying off to the left.
Okay. Are you still rising higher?
Yes.
Do you sense that you might be an energy or something else?
I'm not sure. I'm just really no point of reference. Maybe like a cloud.
A cloud. Okay. Do you sense any other clouds like you around you?
No.
No. Let's move ahead just a little bit in this scene. Let's move ahead to a time where there's something important or something of significance occurring in this particular scene that we're looking at now. On the count of 3, we will be moved ahead to a time where there's something happening. 1, 2, 3. What's happening now?
I feel like I'm coming down out of the cloud, out of just lowering from the sky. Kind of going back down to the right.
Okay.
To my right.
Okay.
I don't like see me, but I like in my like above my forehead. I feel like my energy, I guess would be my body's just like passing across, going from my left to my right and down. And
So your body's moving as well then, coming down.
Yes.
Okay.
But I still feel like I'm outside of it, like just observing it.
Sure, that makes sense. How are you coming down? How is that happening?
Like just kind of, I guess, floating down, like not shooting down, but I feel like my body is straight pointed, like headed in the direction, but I'm not moving fast. It's kind of
just
gently gliding. I don't see I see like the idea of something like a solid straight line going. I don't know.
Yeah,
just
that makes sense.
Going down at the angle.
Sure.
And I still see the blue sky.
Is the valley starting to come into view, or something else on the ground?
Yeah, I see what I think would be the valley. It's like just that point of reference, the difference in color, the brown and the green. And now I'm passing it, so the valley's on my left now.
Okay. Where are you headed?
I just don't see anything particular.
Okay.
Still just blue or just sky, just blue. And trying to,
What are you?
It's floating through, it's floating by. I mean, it's just like an energy. Like I can't see me, but I'm just aware that there's that whatever's I'm guessing just a spirit and energy that's intentionally moving, and I'm just aware of it. It's kind of see-through. I guess there's nothing.
So you are moving with intention then, as you flow?
Yes.
Okay.
Like that. The valley is kind of behind me, and as far as like that energy is moving, but from where I'm what I can see is just like it's to my left, like how I'm looking.
You're moving on to something else?
Yes.
What are you moving on to?
There's just kind of building a city. Like there's stuff there. There's like over a city, but I can't.
Well, as you start
make-
talking about it and describing it, more details start to come into experience. So, what do you see? Looks like a city.
Like it's starting to be like a city
Mm-hmm.
and gas stations and I guess it's buildings.
Mm-hmm. What do the buildings look like?
I don't. There's one I'm trying to see what it is, but I keep like that energy keeps trying to go past it, but I'm trying to figure out what it is. But I can't. It's a.
We'll go where the energy wants to
know.
take you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go with the flow there. You don't have to fight it. What do you see as you're floating along?
Just still kind of just like the idea of a city. I can't read. I don't see any.
Are you
names
above
on
it?
buildings.
Are you down within it as you float?
Right now. I'm floating down. Still trying to see what that building is. It's starting to be to my left that I've like the energy's past it.
Right.
But it's not like I feel like it would be like a stadium or something.
Okay.
But I only see a piece of it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that's why I want to like try to figure it out. But the energy is just kind of lowering and it's still above the city, but
Okay.
coming down. Kind of like a gas station. I'm like, how do I want to say? I'm like where it's a 2D view now.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe like a shopping center across from it.
Okay.
I don't see any people or cars.
Okay.
I'm just.
What's the feeling of this city?
I guess good. I just comfortable, safe, and just maybe like right where I'm supposed to be at this moment in this time.
Mm-hmm. Does it look familiar to you? Anything look familiar? Have you been there before?
Not quite. Not possibly.
Okay.
But I can't. I just.
What else about this energy is important? Deep breaths. I'm going to take 5 deep breaths now. I'm going to count down as we do it, starting with 5 deep breaths. 4. 3. 2. And 1. You're more relaxed. Is there anything else about this scene or this energy that's important that we should explore now, or would you like to move on?
Let's try to explore it because I feel like I'm on the, well, yeah, just the thought that I'm walking is walking.
Okay. You're walking now?
Yeah.
Not floating? Okay.
Correct.
And what is around you as you walk?
Well, that gas station is to my left.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just kind of gas station with I don't even see the gas pumps. I just kind of see the building and
Mm-hmm.
the cover over what would be over the pumps.
Sure, the canopy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then across the street to it's the right, just kind of like a shop. I don't even, just a building.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really tell what's in. There's just a building.
Is it
I'm
one
guessing
story, 2-story?
It was seems to be one story with like a tower. It could be 2 stories,
Okay.
just the way it is. But I just see a profile view,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't see which. It kind of reminds me of Manhattan,
Okay.
and of K-State.
Right.
And there's a street that I've walked and we walk, and walking towards K-State, there's the gas station on your left, and there's there's a building to your right that's could be multiple, could be 2 stories.
Okay. Are you still walking, or have you stopped?
I don't think I was actually walking. I think I was just at that spot. Yeah.
Okay. As the energy, or standing on your feet?
I know. I'm still an outside observer, but I
see.
I don't see me. I don't see the physical form.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just aware,
You're observing. Sure.
Observe that.
Let's see
my
what
feet
else.
are on the ground.
Yeah, that's okay. What else do we observe? Can you tell what's the light like? What time of day is it?
Yeah, it's day. Maybe like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of a brighter, healthier energy. Like wouldn't have been after the sun goes, or it wouldn't be towards evening.
Do you see any cars or people yet?
No, I was about to say I don't see any. I'm just breathing, but I'm trying to force something, but I don't want to force it. I just want to.
Yeah, just relax. Let's do this. Let's move on and come back. So we don't want anything to be forced. So we're going to leave this scene. Okay, so that's the end of that clip.
So, what are your initial thoughts on that? You said you were.
Well, first is my voice, and maybe some timidness.
Right, that's the word.
And I believe that directly goes with having that inner, what we call our throat chakra, or that energy center, feeling closed up, or actually being closed up, and me feeling like this. And so you can hear that so much clearly. I have listened to this first session quite a few times, and then our other sessions, and I'm aware of the difference, but until you brought it to my attention, and it's like it really worked. I really did get healed in one aspect, and it's like I really am opened up. And then as we are listening to it, I was going back in my mind and remembering, and there's parts on it where you just hear me sigh, breathe heavily, and I think it's because I couldn't explain myself. I wasn't able to explain myself as I wanted to. And I also wanted, like, stuff wasn't happening. Like, I wanted action.
Right,
Yes.
right. It was
And
too subtle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as we've come to know that corner right where I was talking about and standing, just being there, is significant for our next session. But I wanted something to happen. I wanted to be more. And so I remember in session taking those breaths, like, it's okay. Just relax. Like, allow it to present itself. Don't force it. And you mentioned that in the session, and it was helpful. So that moment, traveling back and remembering, like, now I can see myself lying on the couch, and I remember taking those deep breaths, like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, we're gonna get, like, the things I want to do, because I wanted to be healed so quick. Like,
Right.
I needed it. I needed to be healed.
Right.
And also, so we talked about, you and I have talked about when things are kind of off to the left or to the right, how the left kind of represents the past and the right is more towards the future. And in that session, there's a lot of me describing things to my left or to the right, and then me rising up and coming down, and I haven't thought about how I can interpret that differently than from the other times I've heard it. So that was really cool.
You know, it's interesting because in these sessions, when you listen back to the recordings, there's always, well, first of all, the healing frequency that's present at the time of the session is captured in the recording. So every time you listen back, you're going to experience that frequency, that healing frequency again. But the other interesting thing is it's almost holographic, because whatever you need in that moment is provided in the frequency at the time you listen. So even if you have different needs when you listen back to it than you had when it was first recorded, those needs are going to be met because the frequency is holographic, if that makes sense.
Yes and no.
Yeah, so listening back is really a good way to experience that healing all over again.
Agreed, yes.
Yeah, and you'll even sometimes receive further insight on some of the scenes that maybe didn't make a lot of sense at the time, but you start to receive further expansion in the days following the session. So.
Yes, and I would say that's important in a session, to not try to just answer or figure everything out that you're experiencing.
Right.
Allow the experience to happen, and then when you go back to the recording, or what we use the word download, like sometime in the next few days, those things will download into you, and you'll have a deeper understanding of those things. And I maybe in that first session, and it's probably just because how I am trying to figure it out as well, that might have added to all the, because I'm looking around, it's my first time experiencing this, and I'm trying to describe it, and I'm trying to kind of make something happen. Yeah. So there's a lot there. And it's just wonderful how our minds are, how my physical body was in one place, my, I guess maybe spirit body was in another place, and my mind was in both, because I was able to communicate with you while still being somewhere else energetically or spiritually. And that's like, wow, wait a second, how do we do that?
Well, that's what I've heard, that one of the definitions of the mind is a bridge between the lower densities of consciousness and the higher, more spiritual realms. The mind is the bridge.
Yes.
So that's fascinating. Well, in that first session then, the next scene you went to, you were still an energy, but you were being shown how to experience the light. Do you have any recollection of that?
Okay. Yes and no,
Shall we
because
play
we
it
had
again?
we've had a few sessions about.
Shall we
light.
play it again? Do you want to hear it again?
Yes.
We're going to float up, up, up again. Safe and comfortable and gently floating. Floating to the next appropriate time. Floating to the next important place. And as we float, I'm going to count from 3 to 1. And with each count, you will be more and more relaxed. 3, relaxing more and more. 2, more relaxed than you've ever been. And 1, arriving here now is the most appropriate time and place. And as you drift back down, down, down to the surface, I want you to tell me the very first things that you perceive.
Like I see the sun either rising or setting over an ocean, but I'm still that energy that is just still above
That's beautiful.
everything.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I can just
let's just experience this for a while. Do you hear anything? Perceive any sounds?
no, just that it's like a bright sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even feel the necessarily warmth,
Right.
but just a bright,
Just the
wonderful
sun.
light. Yeah.
And you're above the ocean as well?
Yeah. Well, I feel like, or I'm I guess, like I'm over. I don't see the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's something. There's something that I can't quite see the water.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it'd just be buildings or just blank.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like where the sun is, and then there's just water right there.
Mm-hmm.
I can maybe even sense a reflection off of the water, but I don't necessarily see the water.
Tell me more.
And I'm just over, like as I was floating up, I was like in a Superman pose with one arm and my body straight, and I was like just in a Superman pose, kind of taking off.
Right.
But I wasn't going anywhere really quickly. I was just in that pose.
Okay.
And now I'm vertical and just observing that light.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell what's beneath me or below me. It's
What
nothing.
is it about the light?
It's just kind of, just want to just stare at it, just look at it, and just guess in a way, my first thought is like just to charge up, like like Superman.
Can you do that? Can you reach in this place that you are now? Can you reach up and feel that light? Recharge from that light?
Yes.
Yes. Are you connected now?
Yes, I'm very close. It's in like now I sense that light is like right here on my body, like I'm laying down on this couch. I feel like the light is just coming in, and
that's beautiful. Let's let it come in. Let's let it flow in through your heart center. And as it's flowing in, feel how it begins to move throughout your body. Clearing and re-energizing every cell it touches. As it realigns your energies, empowers your energies within and without. Just feel as it moves through your body. Can you describe what you're feeling?
Yeah, I just feel happy and thankful for, and like the light is moving to different parts of my body and kind of, I guess, just shining light on it and healing it. And just I'm so thankful. Like, thank you. I've been wanting this. I've been needing this.
Well, as you assimilate these feelings and this light continues to move through your body, I want you to make note of this feeling, because you can return here anytime you set your intention. You will be right back here experiencing.
Yes, I remember now. Thanks for the refresher. Oh, that light. You always encouraged me to write stuff down.
Right.
And probably the first 2 sessions I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Right.
And I never did. Well, I did. I have now, but maybe the first 2 sessions I didn't do it. And I even started putting notebooks in certain places, and I just wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't write. And because I do write now, I write stuff down now.
Right. Thoughts,
ideas, downloads. Where I'm at in life now, listening to that, I have an interpretation of the light, like when I'm approaching the light in that clip, is like the sun. But it would be the sun, like when the sun rises or when the sun sets, when the UV rays are perfect, and it actually does rejuvenate your body. A lot of cultures do what they call sun gazing, and I started practicing sun gazing occasionally. And it's just something that literally charges your body. And so I was listening to the description of like a superhero, specifically Superman, and I remember I was like flying this way, and then when I got to the right spot, I was up like just basking in it and charging. Like I said, I'm just enjoying it, and that was just really cool. And to hear it back and be in this space now and think of it that way is like, that was the sun. And then because at that time I so desired certain things in my body to be healed, I was like on an operating table, and the light was kind of just going through me and healing and fixing everything. And in that moment, I just knew to be thankful and happy and just
An
like,
experience.
yes. And I was like, finally, like I said, I've been waiting for this. I've been wanting it. So I'm thankful for the space I'm in now, because that first session did a lot. And it may not, so I would guess I would want to share that it may not be everything is solved in that first day, right? There's a lot of information in there. Our sun holds a lot of information. So when you are gazing at or just watching it as the sun rises or sun sets, your body is taking in tons of information, and that information comes out at some point in time. You're like, how did I learn this? Where did I learn this from?
Right.
And this is kind of weird, but I've said some stuff that I was like, I learned from the sun, and people look at me weird. I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, but when I'm watching the sunrise or the sunset, there's just information that comes, and then later on I just know stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
I call them light codes.
Yes. That would. And I think names are funny because different cultures, different places have different names.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I think we're scared of those things that we don't know, like spirits or energies. And in our session, I could tell there was an energy or entity. I didn't know what to call it, because I didn't know what it was, but I recognized it wasn't a person like you and I in the flesh. I guess it could have been an angel, but it didn't seem. I don't know. I guess maybe angels are. I guess we think of angels as a certain way, so I wouldn't have described it as an angel. So what do you call that?
An energy.
Yeah, and that's just what it is.
Yes.
And that's all life is.
Yeah, it's a frequency. It's an energy.
Yeah, that's the word. So that light, and it's a different light than when we talked about later on.
Right.
And all right, I don't want to get too far ahead, but now I think of that. This light came into me so that I can give the light that we talk about in other sessions.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Foreshadowing here. All right. So the next one is the next clip I have is when you meet your guide.
Across to that other grove of trees. You'll notice that your guide is walking out from those trees, and he's standing in the clearing. You can see him. Describe what you see right now.
The clearing, and it's like a circle of trees, and a guide is in front of me. Across the clearing, but there's kind of like a pathway or a tunnel of the tree, like the trees were made or planted really close, but there's like just a little path of like there's the clearing, and then the trees just create a path. It's like almost like you're supposed to go, and the guide's just kind of floating, like, here you go, like the way we're gonna go, right? Yeah.
So your guide's going to lead you through this path?
Yeah, like, all right, come on. I'm just I haven't followed the guide, and guide hasn't like went through there yet, but I'm just kind of looking and taking it in, and I can see the guide saying, like, here we're. This is. There's not too many other places to go. Like, all kind of just the idea of like a whole bunch of arrows on the ground and lights and like ding ding ding. That's where you're gonna go. That's the way to go. Like a lot of just things pointing right through that tree, through that path.
Yeah.
Between the trees.
Your guide is patient.
Yeah.
Your guide will wait until you're ready. And I'm here with you as well. So you're safe.
I'm trying to.
Let's follow your guide now.
Well, at this point, I have to go to the restroom really bad.
Okay. So do you remember much about meeting your guide?
Yes. That was a special moment because it was like there's nothing else to do but to go forward, go this way. And as I described it in session, it was like I said, there's a whole bunch of arrows pointing, lights saying go this way. There's only one way to go on your journey, and that's through this path. But also to know that somebody is with me, or it is or was with me. And I think sometimes we feel alone. And you mentioned it before we watched it, is my voice. Like that difference that I hadn't realized how much of a difference between the first part of our session to that part. Even though I've listened to it and I've recognized it. I thought maybe it was just my headphones or I had turned up the volume or something. And now I'm realizing it's like something really authentically changed between those moments.
Yes.
Yeah. And others will be
sincere emotion in your voice.
Yeah, other people will be able to hear that as well. You can hear it, and I'd never recognized that because I do remember one time playing it on in my headphones and like adjusting the volume but I don't know, I guess I didn't realize maybe it was actually because there was a process of something that happened. And then
Right.
I was happy. I was thankful.
Yeah.
I was healed.
Yeah.
And I haven't really had doubts that things worked. There have been moments where there's like I want more, but this is confirmation. And I don't know exactly how much time passed between this, but in 10 minutes that what we went through in that session actually was significant and it worked.
Right.
And of course, when we're in that experience, we don't tell. We're not aware of that. That was awesome.
So yes, in the session you have the experience, but you don't take the time to reflect upon it. You experience it, but then afterward, when you listen back, you have the ability to reflect and to feel it again and to make sense of things and see how things connect. And
Yes.
Fascinating. Well, do you want to take a break? And then, because this is where the restroom break was in this session.
For more information on the quantum journeying experience, contact me, Quantum Guide, Janie Bryson, at my website, expandingconsciousness.info. expandingconsciousness.info.